Now, I feel like we need a drum roll because this is the game we've been waiting for. Michigan State at Michigan. Number 4, Michigan.
Hey-o.
We've got our own maze out going here with the yellow sweatshirts that we have. Maze sweatshirts we had designed for team rivalry at the game. We wore them to the Michigan-Penn State game and got asked about them by at least one person.
Yeah.
Like, who's the freak in the sweatshirt? I don't know. I'm not sure who that was directed at.
Website.
What?
I wonder if she looked at the website.
Maybe. I don't know. But this game, let's see here. So this game, okay, so Michigan State at number 4, Michigan. They're both coming off a bye week. This is our favorite rivalry game, the Paul Bunyon Trophy. Although officially it is the Paul Bunyon Governor of Michigan Trophy. I'll explain why in a minute. This is the 115th meeting of these two teams. The first game was played October 12th, 1898. Yes, 2 centuries ago.
Wow.
At Regents Field in Ann Arbor. Regents Field was their original field that became Ferry Field, and then it became the Big House. They're not in the same location. They're about a mile apart.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Regents Field is actually now where the practice stadium is.
Oh, neat.
Michigan leads the series 71-38-5. And I know this is controversial to you State fans, so just hang in there. We'll get to it. Michigan is favored by 23 points.
Ouch.
I'm not sure when the last time was Michigan was favored by 23 points, but I'm glad to see it.
2019.
No. Really?
It was at least 3 scores.
All right. The Paul Bunyan Trophy. So you can see it there on your screen, I hope. The Paul Bunyan Trophy was originally presented in 1953 by then Governor G. Menon Williams, which is interesting to me because the first rivalry game we had this season was the Governor's Bell Trophy for Minnesota and Penn State.
Penn State, yeah.
Yeah, which was also presented by a governor. So apparently governors like football trophies.
Mm-hmm.
It is, now, you can't really tell from the picture, but the statue itself from the feet up is 4 feet high. The base is 5 feet high. This thing stands 9 feet tall.
Wow.
If I'm understanding correctly, either that or they mean with the base, it's 5 feet tall. But the description I saw has it as the base is 5 feet and the statue is 4 feet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they mean the statue is 4 feet and the base makes it 5 feet.
I've seen them lift that over their head. Like when you watch them lift the trophy over their heads.
I have too, but I'm not sure that's the actual trophy, is it?
I thought it was, because I thought that's what they were doing now, is that they were allowing them to celebrate with the trophy on the field, because they used to not let them do that.
Okay, well then I'm betting that I read it wrong and that it's actually only 5 feet tall.
I was gonna say, if that trophy's 9 feet tall and they're lifting it like
yeah. But I thought that the one they took out on the field was a replica, so that if somebody dropped it, they didn't break the original. But maybe it is the original out there. I don't know. I know the little brown jug I think is a replica because that thing is gotta be fragile at this point.
Yeah, that's water jug. That's like 100 years old.
Yeah, it's like 100 years old. Okay, so this rivalry game, in the category of things we have to talk about so Spartan fans don't feel like we're arrogant Michigan fans, the rivalry statistics. Both Mac and I have had to deal with Spartan fans who don't like how we view this rivalry because we view it as more than 10 years old. A lot of Spartan fans don't. They think it just recently started. Yes. I personally grew up during the Bo Schembechler era. So for me, it was an anomaly when Michigan State won because Michigan just won all the time. They didn't, not against every team in the conference, but they would beat Michigan State just all the time. So to look at the Bo era, we have to include Gary Moeller and Lloyd Carr because Gary Moeller and Lloyd Carr both worked for Bo. So if we take 1969 is when Bo was first made the coach to 2007 when Lloyd Carr retired, the rivalry stood at 30-9. And during that period, Michigan State never won 2 years in a row. Never. Wow. That's the rivalry I grew up with. That's why when I look at this game, I don't understand how Michigan State wins it. But so some Spartan fans don't like it that we count this rivalry from 1898. They want us to count it from when Michigan State joined the Big Ten in 1949. 1949 is when they joined. 1950 was the first season they played. From 1950 to 2021, the rivalry stands at 38-32 Michigan. Much closer, but Michigan is still in the lead. Now, the D'Antonio era at Michigan State changed all that. Mark D'Antonio coached Michigan State from 2007 to 2019, and lo and behold, Michigan State pulled ahead 8-5. Now, I don't want to diminish Michigan State. They've been a good team for the last 15 years. But even during Michigan's worst era in the history of the team, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that, from 2008 to 2020, Michigan has had the worst seasons they've ever had. Not all of them, but the worst seasons they've ever had are in that time frame. Even in that time frame, Michigan State is only up by 3 games out of 13. So we fully admit Michigan State has dominated the rivalry ever since D'Antonio became head coach, and Mel Tucker is now 2-0 against Michigan. Having said that, looking forward to this weekend, none of it matters. None of it. It's all off the table. The stats don't matter. The history doesn't matter as a predictor of team performance. The history only matters in terms of how this game is played. And in the D'Antonio era, this game is a street fight from beginning to end. So that's the past. The present at MSU is they are on a 3-4 season. All 4 losses are back-to-back. Their first conference victory was 2 weeks ago against Wisconsin, and it wasn't really a statement win because Wisconsin isn't doing all that well. But it's still a win. They've had a lot of injuries. I'm not sure who's out this week or who's back this week, whether anybody is out or back or whether it'll matter either way. The Spartans can have confidence in their coach, though, because, as I said, Mel Tucker is 2-0 against Michigan. But will that be enough to win at the Big House this season with Michigan being as dominant as they are? Mac, what are you looking for? After me saying all of that, feel free to have any input you want on that. What are you looking for in Michigan State this weekend?
I don't know how in the world I follow that up. Jeez, that was intense. I loved every second of it. Nice job on that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't want to fall in the trap. So, okay. I'm not going to fall in the trap of worrying about what anyone thinks about what I think, because I think things and I wouldn't think them if I thought that they were unthinkable.
It makes a lot of sense.
I didn't write that. That was
just right there.
It's just the genius that exists in my head. Anyway, now that's all to say that I think Michigan's going to beat the crap out of Michigan State this weekend.
Yeah,
I really do. I do. Okay. Look, Mel Tucker takes over in 2020. I was the first one who said that he was a bust hire. Okay. And obviously 2020 didn't go the way that Michigan State wanted it to. Hey, we were there too. We didn't like it either. No. So 2020 is a dumb season. We're going to forget about that. But Michigan State still won. So congrats. Great job, guys. 2021, I have been ridiculously outspoken about how phenomenal a player Kenneth Walker is and was. Is now in the NFL. It sounds like he's doing fantastic in the NFL, and he did phenomenally well at Michigan State. I think that he probably should have been in the Heisman conversation a bit more than he was, but it's not up to me, so you can't blame me. I thought he should have been there. Okay. I also think that Kenneth Walker maybe won y'all about 5 or 6 games. Okay. Because he had 5 or 6 touchdowns against Michigan. And yet that game still came down to 2 calls that screwed Michigan out of touchdowns. So as good as, I'm just realizing that makes me sound a little bit contradictory. I don't care. I'm just going with it. Last year, you guys were good. You guys were very good. And I'm not taking that away from Michigan State. Michigan State was very good last year. Kenneth Walker was really good last year. That's fine. They can have that. I still think that there were bad calls in the Michigan State game last year that cost Michigan the game. That's my opinion. In the end, you guys still got the W. It's okay. This year, the scenario is completely different. Michigan State is 3-4 with one of the worst secondaries in the nation. Their secondary was already one of the worst in the nation last year. This year, they're even worse. Okay. So this game is going to come down to, for Michigan State, how is Peyton Thorne going to do against Michigan's secondary? So Michigan's secondary hasn't been at times fantastic against the pass. And Peyton Thorne is a pretty solid quarterback. The problem is that they've been very reliant on him because Michigan State has a really bad running game right now. They have not been able to rely on it nearly as much as Michigan has been able to rely on theirs. So Peyton Thorne is going to get his number called, 40 times, I think, against Michigan, because you're not going to run the ball. So Peyton Thorne's going to be asked to probably throw the ball 35, 40 times. Throwing the ball that many times, how often is he going to get picked off? He's got 7 interceptions. He's got some interceptions that happened at very bad times for Michigan State. Can he be consistent? Can he actually beat Michigan secondary? Can he get the ball to Jaden Reed, to Trey Mosley? How is that going to look? Are they going to be able to do anything? For the running game, I don't know what they're going to be able to do against Michigan's defensive line, because against the run-in, they just get better and better. They're going to have to start looking at some options and stuff like that to get Peyton Thorne running as well. But again, it comes down to Peyton Thorne. So all of this is to say that I'm curious as to how Peyton Thorne's going to do. If he doesn't show up, then the game is over. I already think that the game is over for them anyway, because I think Michigan's just too powerful this year. But when the game gets out of hand really depends on how long Peyton Thorne is playing consistently good football.
The other side of the equation, Michigan. Michigan is now 7-0 with a good win against Penn State. I don't know if anyone's calling it a signature win, but it definitely left no doubt that Michigan is real. They dominated that game. They pulled ahead in that game in the second half and just tore up the field. I've seen the quotes from Harbaugh and some of the players that they want to win. Typically the coaches are kind of holding back. You know, it's in general, yes, we want to win every game, but Harbaugh and the players are looking at this game as very personal, wanting to turn the tide on the whole rivalry. I was going to say something. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it'll come back to me. What are you looking for from Michigan in this game?
I'm looking for it to be personal. Okay, because like I said, now Michigan State fans, you can turn off your ears, you can go put your heads in the sand, whatever you want to do. And I get it. Michigan fans do the exact same thing. So I'm talking to everybody here, but right now I'm just going to talk to my Michigan friends. This game has got to be personal. Okay, because last year was stolen from you. And I get it. Michigan State fans are going to say, oh, another Michigan fan blaming the refs. Yep, sorry. Kenneth Walker ran all day, all over our defense. Okay, he did, and he is fantastic, and you guys should be very proud of him. I think as Big Ten fans, we're all really impressed and proud of him because he represented the conference very well. The problem is that you had a sack fumble for a touchdown that was taken away from Aiden Hutchinson. Everyone, the Big Ten admitted to that being a bad call. That alone would have given Michigan the victory. So Michigan, you have to be upset. The players have to be upset. They have got to, for 4 quarters, shut Michigan State down in every facet of the game. So I'm looking to see specifically, how is Michigan going to do in the passing game against Michigan State's legendarily bad secondary. JJ McCarthy right now has 1,300 yards on the season so far passing. He's only got 2 interceptions, so he's being pretty safe with the football. The thing is, though, is that Michigan doesn't even like to go to the air if they don't have to, and most of the time they don't. The running game right now averages 242 yards a game, which is crazy right now. I mean, that's really good. So they haven't been able to force turnovers on defense, though. And I think that's going to be something that they're going to have to look at. I know that's kind of a hard segue, but that's something that I think the defense is going to need to work on for the rest of the season, especially because if they can get a couple of interceptions out of Peyton Thorne, this game's over. And then that pays dividends moving forward, too, because if once they get past Michigan State, I know we were talking about Illinois as a trap game, but then you just saw CJ Stroud turn the ball over twice against Iowa. If Michigan can start generating some turnovers, all of a sudden that Ohio State game gets even more interesting than it already was. Mm-hmm. That being said, I'll bring myself back to this week. I personally think that Michigan is going to have their choice of whether or not they want to air it out and end the game early or run the ball and just play keep away for an hour. Either way, I expect Michigan's offensive line to feast. They're going to be dominant, and I think that Michigan's going to win a blowout.
I'm reminded what you were saying there is that old line that if the game comes down to the refs, you didn't play well enough to win the game.
Yes,
and
that is true.
But I actually forgot about that fumble, that scoop and score from Hutchinson. Mm-hmm. I remember, they did call that one a bad call officially, but unfortunately they couldn't change the game.
Yeah,
but
so if I could just say something, like I get that statement. If it comes down to the refs and you didn't play well enough, the problem mm-hmm. is that sometimes you have two teams that are just that evenly matched.
Right.
And so the refs need to call a clean game, or they're going to be the ones to decide to decide the game. And if they do it wrong.
Yeah. Well, and I think that game was the exception to the rule, especially since they actually admitted to it.
Yeah.
So it has to be the exception to the rule in that particular game. So,
right.
So yeah, this game this weekend should be personal. It's, I can't remember. I think the last time I looked forward to the Michigan State game was 2008. Mm-hmm. Rich Rod's first year. And then obviously that was a disappointment. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's been a long time. I didn't even look forward to it last season because I think if you remember, I think last season was the season I really wasn't expecting anything from Michigan. I'd kind of given up. Mm-hmm. And then it turned out to be a win after win after win after win. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe something's happening now. Mm-hmm. And then they lost to Michigan State. Yeah. But went on to beat Ohio State and win the championship. So that turned out to be a very, very good season.
I'll say this too, though. That game last year was extremely fun to watch.
It was, yeah.
It was. I actually found myself by the end of the game just being okay with how it played out. I knew that the refs were going to be, I knew that the refs cost Michigan the game, and I'm not going to have my mind changed on that. So if I sound arrogant, fine. But I just genuinely enjoyed watching that game.
Yeah.
To see both Michigan teams play that well was just awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I remember that. Yeah. I remember feeling the same way. I wasn't as upset over the loss as I thought I would be.
Yeah.
And I think part of that was what I just said, that I wasn't expecting anything from Michigan. So all of the wins were a pleasant surprise. Losing to Michigan State was whatever.
Yeah. Good on you, boys.
Yeah. Then, of course, that game against Ohio State where we're just screaming the entire time. We're just going for it at that point.
We're in it then.
Yeah. Okay, so the team rivalry top secret score predictor. I like this call. I don't know if this is going a little overboard.
Go for it.
But this is what we've got. Michigan 45, Michigan State 7.
Wow. All right. So
what do you got?
If that's overboard, I mean, it's 44-10? Yeah, 44-10.
All right.
Yeah, I'm taking the big bro 44-10. I'm with the score predictor on that one. And that is the exact same score as the 2019 game. So I've just got that game in my head right now. I think that's how it goes.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it. I'm looking forward to this game. It's going to be an exciting
Mhm.
weekend.
But to the State fans that are still watching, good luck. Have fun. If your team wins, congratulations. Have a good time. It's going to be a great game. I'm sorry your team's not playing as well as ours right now, but just it's football. Football is always fun. Just keep having fun with it.